Hi everybody, I just wanted to say thanks for all the supporters for my band Smash Face. So this is going to be a quick lesson. I want to just talk about, I don't know, some things like I have a pentatonic hammer-on exercise that's pretty cool. And then I could show you how you could alter stuff, or as I like to say, milk it for all it's worth. Like some of my fans have seen some of my older videos, so I'll show you some ways that you could alter it a little bit so then you could get a little bit more out of it, or just change it up and make it your own, because that's what I always encourage my my students and fans of mine is to, if you learn a chord or learn a like a lick of your favorite player or whatever, you know, make it so then it's, you know, you could transcribe it into your own key, and also you could, you know, alter it a little bit just to make it your own. Because I'm sure the player that you listened to and then emulated probably did the exact same thing to get that same lick that you're doing. So let's start off with one thing that I strongly encourage every player to do is to warm up. I've currently been warming up about like 20-30 minutes before I even start playing anything, whether it be a song, one of the Smash Face songs, or a song I'm trying to learn, or you know, any new technique. I want to warm up, make sure my hands are nice and warmed up. So one thing you should do is, and a lot of this warm-up stuff is from Rock Discipline from John Petrucci, which I strongly recommend, because I mean that book is pretty old and it still, I think, holds true to today, and that's, I don't know, like 20 years ago. So so a lot of his exercises are with stretching the hand. He even ends up doing like stretches like this far away. And one thing you got to remember is to make sure that your hands, or your fingers I should say, are curled like this. And that's what I'm trying to work on, is make my pinky more curled like this, because I have a tendency to flatten it like this, which then in this case would cover all the strings. But since I'm forced to curve it so then the other strings can ring, it strengthens my my pinky and able to make it curved. Next thing you should work on is synchronization of your notes. I strongly suggest just doing scale fragments. Like say for instance, on the second to the highest string, the B string, you could just do 5, 6, 8. And you could see this in several instructional videos, from Paul Gilbert to Rusty Cooley to, again, John Petrucci. All players do scale fragments in a lot of their instructional videos. So you could do or backwards. Make sure that you are clean with it. That's a huge thing. If you just, that's not clean. If you could hear in between, I think the hardest thing with players is to recognize that you're doing something wrong. Like if I'm just this is, you know, that sounds terrible. First of all, I'm articulating notes and pinch harmonicking, doing pinch harmonics on notes that shouldn't be necessarily articulated. You're really getting control of your pick, and your picking, and your your left hand is huge. I mean, that defines players. That makes, you know, amateurs to, you know, advanced or professional musicians. Next thing to work on is you know, choking up on your pick. I see some players, I should say, choke up on their pick the opposite of to me, which, I mean, whatever works obviously for players, but like I've seen Misha from Periphery do it like this, where they curve it in like that, which is, I mean, that works for him, and it worked for Sean Lane, and both are really good players. But me personally, because that to me really puts strain on your thumb, and after a while, I mean, if you're practicing a lot, you know, typical players, you know, practice like 3-4 hours. If you're practicing that much a day and putting that much pressure on your thumb, you're going to end up getting cramps, and, you know, might be damaging your hand for, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm no doctor, but I learned this from Chris, along with some Paul Gilbert videos, they choke up on the pick like this, which you basically rest the pick on your index finger. So you'd like rest it on top of there. I don't know if you can see that right, but rest it on top of there, put your thumb on top of it, and then you could choke it up like that. You could still do pinch harmonics and stuff like that because you got your thumb right there. And you want to, I mean, once you start warming up, you barely use any pick. That's why a lot of players use those Jazz 3 picks, because they're so small, because you don't even need that much pick if you're playing fast. And then, I mean, that's comfortable. And you want to really warm up your wrist along with your arm, especially if you're playing fast. Like I just start with my wrist at first. I palm mute it so then none of the other strings can ring up, just to practice. And then let up on it. And then I can incorporate my arm later, and then I move my pick back closer to back here, just because the string is a lot more tight. Because the point of getting fast is less movement, or economy of movement. I guess I could say. Because if I'm doing huge movements on my left hand, I will not be able to go fast. I could do it for a little while, but that tends to get more difficult. And then if I do less movement, especially if you see, I'm barely moving, I'm barely letting up on my middle finger. And then once you get more fast, less movement you'll end up doing, because you have to get faster. Next thing is working on legato. That strengthens my technique that I use a lot, which is, that I said in other videos, the Michael Romeo thing where you hammer on out of nowhere. That type of stuff. You want to just work on your legato. Same thing, where it's 5 on B string, 5, 6, 8. You just go back and forth. During practice, and probably during playing too, if you're doing legatos, I mute all the strings that I'm not using. As you can see on my right hand, I'm palm muting the lowest strings, and then I'm putting my pick on the G string and putting my middle finger on the highest string, so then they're muted. Again, this stuff will become second nature as you start playing, of course, and practice more. Now let's get into the pentatonic thing I was talking about. So, the lick that I learned inside the book that I was reading is just this. That's it. Then I altered it a little bit differently, and I put in a little blues note in there. So at the end, I just put in that note. And another way to alter it, which I did the other day, is so basically you go from 12, 15, 17, hammer on the 19, hammer on 12, this is where it gets more difficult, 14, 17, 19, 12, 15, 17, 20, then I pull off and go backwards, hammer on, pull off, hammer on, pull off. That's the basic shape. Now if you want to alter it, again, it's the same shape up, then down, then I climb back up, then I go on, 18, then I slide to 19, then slide back down to 18, pull off 17, or pull off on 17, and then pull off the 15. Then I'm back on the root. Now if you want to go even more adventurous, you'd go Same way again, up the neck, or sorry, up the pattern. Hammer on again, same. Then I come back up. Then I hammer on with my ring finger on 22. Then I pull off, and same way down. Or I could stop there, or I could climb back up, do the blues thing, and that's it. So again, and the hardest part, is you could probably see in some of the playing, because I'm not warmed up fully, which I should have, but I didn't, so fuck it. Okay, this is another one I've been working on. This is more of a creepy harmonic minor shape, and it's based on the Phrygian dominant scale, which is this. And this was kind of an idea I kind of got from something Buzz McGrath was doing in Unearth, from a video he did online, which basically it's this. So basically what that is, it's kind of a scalar run slash minor seventh, it's a kind of a scalar run slash a diminished seventh chord in there. So I'll break that down for you. So it's 12, 13, 16, then I go to 14, 12, 14, 15. That's one shape. Next shape starting on 13, 14, 16, and then I go to 15, 13, 16, 17. That's the basic notes that I do. Again, you could change stuff like how I was doing at the end where I bend and or whatever. And the important thing is some of this stuff's kind of economy picking. So to pay attention to kind of my picking part. So it's alternate and economy. So I go down, up, down, 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 up, down, and then I could go up, down, down, up, down. I mean, you could obviously change it however you want, but I alternate pick, economy, alt, economy, back and forth. Or whatever. And that, I think, will be good enough for this lesson. Again, thanks for watching, and thanks to all the supporters that are following us on Smashface. We have a tour coming up in Europe. You could follow us on Facebook, and you'll probably see a lot of the flyers and stuff online. If you just Google search it or find it on the Full Blown Chaos Facebook, because they're the ones that are allowing us to, they're gracious enough to let us tour with them in Europe. Just hop on their tour. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Alright, thanks a lot, guys.